Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a wig on a sewing machine from start to finish. So getting straight into the video, I'm going to use a 23 head size dome head, meaning I will have to use a large cap as well. And I'm going to use these mesh dome caps from your local beauty supply store. And here I'm showing you that the little triangle part is the part that I put in the front whenever I make my wigs on the sewing machine. I'm using these T-pins to T-pin the cap down. And I'm going to do that all the way around and make sure that you stretch out the cap so it's flat, but don't like overstretch it, but just stretch it out enough. Also, I have a full detailed online virtual course. If you are interested in that, I'll link that in the description box below. But what I'm doing here is still stretching out my cap, making sure that I got those corners down in the back very good, because that can be where your trouble area can be sometimes. And then once I do that, I'm going to take my closure. For my closure, I am using a 5x5 transparent closure from my hairline. And I am going to do a middle part. So I'm just going to put the closure onto the middle of the cap, as you will see me doing. And once I do that, I'm going to bring it an inch in front of the cap. And then I'm going to T-pin the closure down. If you are new to this, it may take a couple tries to get your closure flat, but just take your time and just keep practicing. Over time, it'll get easier. But you definitely want to make sure that your closure is flat on the cap. Please make sure it's flat on the cap. And I use T-pins as well. You don't have to push the T-pins all the way through the cap, but just enough so that the cap, no, I'm sorry, y'all. Just enough so that the closure is secure on the cap. Once you finish with that, this is how your closure should look before you start stitching it down. For my thread, I'm going to use 100% cotton thread to sew down my closure. Right here, what you see me doing is when you sew the first stitch, make sure that you are not sewing through that dark part. You only want to sew through the first layer of that dark part. If you sew through that whole cap, your cap will not stretch. So always make sure to be careful whenever you are sewing on that thick black part to just sew through the first layer. So I always double stitch my first couple stitches, and then from then on I just single it, leaving about an inch apart or smaller. I mean you don't want it too close, but you don't want it too far away either. So once I do that, you are just going to go all the way around. Once you get to the end, double knot it and then cut off the extra thread that you have left. And then this is how your stitching should look. Once we do that, we are going to go in and draw guidelines using my tape measure. I put it at the 1, and then I just bring it on down, and I draw my line for every inch that is on that tape measure. So once I do that, when you start drawing your lines on the side, you want to kind of slant your line down, because once you get to the top, you don't want to run out of space to draw your line across. So you would see what I mean once I start drawing my lines on the side.
That's the feeling that I get when we lock lips. I got the weed at the crib and the liquor too. I fuck your soul, I release in your spiritual. I be your muse, bring your easel and pencils too. Here you go, you try and tease with them pictures. You could ride on me just to ride.
Once you finish drawing your guidelines, this is how they should look. Now we are going to go on over to our sewing machine. And these are my settings. My tension is at 4. My needle position is in the middle. My width is between 4 and 5. My length is at 4, and my stitching is zigzag. So we are just going to go straight in, and I'm going to double stitch my first 2 bundles and then single stitch my last bundle at the top. Now again, I have a very detailed video on this as far as like how to turn your machine on, how to thread your bobbin, how to do single stitch, zigzag, double track, triple track. I literally have everything very detailed online, and I will leave all of the information in the description box. But for this video's sake, I'm just giving you a run over of how to make a custom wig. So once I stitch my tracks on, I always cut my tracks as well. And again, I'm doubling my first 2 bundles and then singling my last bundle at the top. Once you get to the top, it can get a little more trickier because you will have to curve your cap also. And luckily, on my course, I also send you wig templates, guidelines, so you can practice on your machine on paper before you actually sew on the cap, which helps a lot. But once we finish sewing our last track, we are going to cut out this extra piece on the inside, making sure to be careful that you don't cut the thread from your closure, because if you do, you will just have to start all over again. So be very careful with that. And then we are going to sew on our wig clips and our elastic band and everything. But for this sake video, I didn't want to make it too long. So that concludes our online wig class for YouTube University. If you want more information, you will have to go online on my website and get the course. It is 24/7 access, lifetime, beginner friendly, no experiences needed for you to learn how to make a wig to look just like mine. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also give this video a thumbs up. All information is linked in the description as well. I'll see you in my next video.